Hello, everybody. My talk um, this morning is actually on the layers of uh, discourse analysis here. Uh, Sorry. Yep. Just get the pen. The layers of discourse analysis. Because discourse is a very broad concept. Ranging from um, a paragraph to a book or an encyclopedia, from just um, a small talk to a lecture. Whatever we say, discourse is actually a text in the context of use. It can be either a text or a talk. In other words, the written or spoken discourse. What we have to understand from the onset when we talk about discourse is that discourse as a text constructs society, a society. And we should not also forget that a discourse is something created by the society in which we are living in. So a discourse is a product created by humans. It's also the tools humans use to achieve something. And we talk about layers from the very onset. I think I mentioned this in class before. Traditionally, we will look into three layers, namely the here the linguistic layer, the functional layer, and the critical layer. And I add one more layer on top of the critical layer, that's the emancipatory. Emancipatory is at the top of all the layers because it enables you to get yourself out of the trap of criticality, the trap of functionality, and the trap of linguistic elements or linguistic components that you have. Let me explain more of what I mean by layer. One thing you have to understand is that all these layers are hierarchical. Hierarchical means they are arranged in an order, starting from the linguistic layer, moving up to the strategical or for the functional layer, and higher to the critical layer under the brand name critical discourse analysis. What I mean is that your criticality is a prerequisite for you to emancipate yourself out of the the web of discourses. And your linguistic analysis or your linguistic ability is necessary because it can form a foundation for your functional use of the language and the discourse. So in the analysis, you need to know basic linguistic components in order to move up to the next level. That is the strategical use or the functional use of the language. And then the critical approach towards anything, toward any discourse. Let me give you a pretty concrete example. As you can see on the screen here, this is a discourse. See, Thailand is the land of smiles. You can see here, this is a discourse because it communicates something to the audience. It has a clear purpose. It's a slogan, by the way. And on the layers here, you can see the first one, the linguistic layer. We can analyze that particular discourse by looking into the use of cohesive devices and lexical devices like parts of speech, collocations, and conjuncts, reference, or the use of parallelism. That's the linguistic layer. The functional layer, when we look into what happens when the language or the discourse is put into use, we can analyze the speech and the action of the utterances. We can ask what is the elocutionary force of that particular discourse. Well, is to to inform or to tell. You can say that. Moving up to the third layer or the critical layer, we can ask questions like who will benefit from such slogan? Of course, you say that it's a slogan, and who benefits, and the use of metaphor, and what metaphor has been used. Is it true? Who benefits? These are the question forming your criticality when you look into that particular discourse. And then don't just stop there. Once you have understood the linguistic uh, elements, the relationship between parts and the functional aspects of the discourse and the criticality of the discourse, you need to move yourself up a bit to get yourself out of the trap. Don't get trapped into the web of linguistic, functional, and critical elements. You need to, emancipate yourself, free yourself out of that particular discourse. You can say that, oh, this will come and go, that's not permanent. So it is normal for Thai people, to love their country and to portray themselves in a very positive aspect or the positive image. And yeah, you look at it on the screen, or they are just marks on the screen. Um, so these kind of mental models would enable you to emancipate yourself out of the what we call the bonding of the linguistic elements, the functionalities and the criticalities of symbolic use. I hope it's not too difficult for you to understand the layers of discourses. This is just a preview. In the classroom, we will do a bit more discussion into this. I hope you get ready for the quiz.